Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Bitch, it was a whole ass tornado outside. Your girl was scared. Okay, so this is, I guess, part one of, I don't even know. Hold on. I'm so frustrated. Okay, we're gonna try this again. Hi guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I've been missing in action, MIA, for a while, and no, I'm not enthusiastic right now as I normally would be, because I'm just frustrated and I'm sad and I don't even know, and I don't even know if I would upload this, but I just, in the event that I do want to put something up, or if this does make it to the channel, let me know what you guys think in this situation. I'm not gonna name any names or whatever, but I'm gonna catch you guys up briefly on kind of what's been happening and then what is going on now. Sorry, the sun is like beating down right now because we're out west in Texas, and it's just hot as shit unnecessarily. Anyway, and I apologize also for my voice, because I woke up this morning and I just sound like goddamn Kermit the Frog's cousin. Like, my voice is just not, I don't know, it's just, I don't even know. But basically, like, after I left Big G, I found a job at my new company, and it's been officially a month since I've been with them. They're not the problem. I think I mentioned in a previous video that I, at some point or another, had ambitions to be like a trainer, because I had a great trainer when I started getting my license. I want to be able to give that back to the young ladies that are out here trying to enter the trucking industry and whatnot. And you know, I was excited. Like, this company that I'm with, they reached out to me instead of me reaching out to them. They reached out to me and was like, hey, you know, do you want to be a mentor? And there was a truck passing by, and I was like, you know what, yeah, because that's crazy timing that just so happened. Like, they called and they asked me if I wanted to be a trainer, when I definitely did want to and was thinking about it. I didn't even know that the company that I'm with had like a mentor training or you know, any program like that. So I was like, yes. They flew me out to their headquarters. We did the orientation and everything, and they were like, okay, so we're gonna try and get you planned up with a student soon, but we don't want to overwhelm you. We know you just moved to the dedicated account that you have. We want to give you time to be on the truck by yourself, get used to running that account, because it's one way, it's 1,700 miles, roughly, more than that probably, I think, but about 1,700 miles, zip code to zip code, because that's how they do their miles here at this company. They don't rely on like actual like miles, like hub miles. So 17 roughly 1,700 miles, zip code to zip code, from Somerville, South Carolina, down to Texas, right? And took a week. Next week comes around, it starts, and they're like, we got you a student. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like, I've been waiting for this. I'm actually legitimately gonna be a trainer. Like, I can't believe it. I'm actually doing something that everybody around me has been like, yeah, Lily, you need to be a trainer. Like, you would make a great trainer. And I know that I've wanted to be a trainer for a long time. So I was like, okay, this is really happening. And then, hold on, because this is getting too long. Anyway, so that happened, right? They're like, we got you your first student, and you're gonna pick her up in North Carolina, and that is, gonna be after like your route. Basically, they were trying to like have me still do my route coming back, like when I was on my way back from Texas, and then pick her up in North Carolina. And then still try and make my load delivery for South Carolina. And I was like, yeah, that's not, that's gonna be a lot. That's not really gonna work with picking her up in North Carolina, because it was like 252 miles added to my trip out of the way. And so, excuse me. So I was like, okay, can you guys somehow get her down to Atlanta and meet me at the pet show? Because I got to do my 34 anyway, so that would be perfect. That would be en route. I could just, scoop her up when I'm ready to head out after my 34 is up, and then, go from there. So they did. They got her down here on a Greyhound to Atlanta. Well, I'm saying down here like I'm still in Atlanta, but at the time, down there in Atlanta, they got her down there and whatnot. I talked to her. She seems super sweet. And we just arranged. I told her what time to meet me at the truck, and we got started. The first 2 days, the company didn't want you having the trainee drive. They just wanted them to be observing. I was okay with that. Okay, anyway, I don't remember where I was before the thing just like interrupted me because the phone got too hot. So I'm gonna try and wrap this up quickly. But basically, third day comes around. She's only expected to drive 3 hours. I switch over. I started the morning off. I drove 3.5 hours to get us past the worst of the roads in Mississippi and Louisiana. And then we switched over somewhere before Shreveport. She gets in, does her mirrors, her steering wheel, gets her seat set. She comes on to, when we pull off and she's driving, she gets onto the highway, merging onto the road at about like 35 miles an hour. I was like, okay, that's a bit slow, because, other people, the speed limit at that point was like 65 miles per hour. And she wasn't picking up speed. Mind you, it's okay if like you merge on, like when you turn onto the ramp, so that leads to the highway, if you're going 35, but then by the time you actually hit the highway, you're going like 50 something. No, like she came on the actual highway in the right lane at 35. Thank goodness no one was coming behind us, but still, like, if that's slow. The slowest you can go on a public interstate highway anywhere, I believe, is 45 miles an hour. You're going below that. If someone was coming down and wanted to give you a ticket, they could easily, because you're going below the legal speed limit on a highway. Anyway, we're coming down. She's not maintaining highway speed. She never really went the speed limit at all. And I mean, like, not like she's speeding. She didn't go to speed limit, as in she never even reached like 62 on her own. I had to keep like basically forcing her to be like, okay, you need to pick up speed. You need to pick up speed. Like, you need to pick up speed. You're on a public highway. You can't be like rolling down the road at like 50, 55, not even attempting to reach 60, 62 or anywhere close to the speed limit. You're just kind of hovering around that 50, 55. Eventually she did get up to like that 62 range, and that was on cruise. That was not by her being on the pedal and willingly doing that. Like, I had to keep telling her, okay, you need to, and then she eventually just set the cruise at 62 and then just left it alone. She had 6 lane departure warnings because she could not maintain her lane. And it was not where she was veering off into oncoming traffic. It was the shoulder, like that line that's on the passenger side on the floor, between the right lane and the shoulder. She kept crossing that. She got 6 of those lane departure things. So much so that safety called me and was like, hey, we noticed that you had some lane departure warnings. Like, is everything okay? What's going on? And I was like, no, I was trying to teach my trainee, like, this is her first 3 hours driving since she's got on the truck, and she's trying to learn how to, like, maintain her lane. But no, nothing's wrong, we're okay. And he was like, okay, just make sure you guys are being safe and definitely make sure that she maintains her lane and everything like that. And I was like, okay. So now we fast forward. We ended her day. She drove us from outside of Shreveport into just before Dallas, Texas. She didn't take us into Dallas because I knew that would be too overwhelming for her. So I just, you know, that 3 hour mark, right on the dot, cut it, maybe like 5 or 10 minutes over, because I had her pull us into a truck stop. And we ended up in Terrell, Texas, I believe was where we ended up stopping and switching over. And then I continued to drive us through Dallas, and then we ended up shutting it down for the night in, I don't think we made it to, did we make it below? We made it past Abilene after, by the time I shut down. So we were somewhere around there, right? Then next day comes. She's supposed to do 4 hours the next day, because this is her 4th day on the truck, but her 2nd day driving technically, because remember, the first 2 days on the truck she's not allowed to drive. So her 4th day she's supposed to drive 4 hours, so 1 hour up from what she drove the other day, which was the 3 hours. She didn't end up driving because we ended up having to stop at the PAM yard and stay there, because I felt like something was wrong with the tires, and we already had a low amount of time. I would much rather, I don't care if it's anything that's not even that serious or nothing is seriously wrong or whatever, I just want to make sure to check it out, because I don't like getting out on a roadway and knowing that I ignored my gut and then something happened, because then I just feel awful, because something was telling me that it was wrong and I didn't listen. Even if it is nothing, I would much rather just follow my gut, especially if I'm already at a PAM yard. That way I don't have to wait on roadside, because you guys already know how annoying roadside is. So we go do that. We're walking around and she was like, oh, well, there's a tiny hole in the tire. Maybe like what's wrong, or that sound is the hole in the tire. I was like, I did see the hole in question that she was talking about, and it did not puncture through, it did not puncture through the rubber. Like, it was just a tiny little speck, like something poked it, then it bounced off, and then that was it. It just like got into the rubber just a little bit, but not enough to actually completely go through and like pierce the tire entirely to where air was leaking or anything like that. It was still solid. I did my pre-chip that morning. It was still solid. Air was still holding. We drove the whole most of the way down, and the tire was still holding, right? And I was like, okay, that's not, I don't even know. I'm just annoyed even thinking about it now as to like what happened today. Hold on, you guys. Okay, so we're here. I tried to film the video up front, and that just did not work out because the sun was being like super disrespectful, and it just got really hot and it kept overheating my phone, and that just made me very disappointed. But basically, it is now 2:45. I'm on my 34 now because things just went like entirely off schedule from what they were supposed to be. Like I said, we were supposed to be in Irving, Texas. We were supposed to get to Irving, Texas yesterday at the end of her 2.5 hours, and that did not end up working because she did not want to drive. She was saying that she was done for the day, and then chaos ensued. So basically what ended up happening was that, you know, she had went to go stretch or whatever, because like I said, she gave up on trying to back. I ended up backing the truck. She pulled the brakes, put it in park, and just left it there, like not even in the space. It's kind of sticking out in the road, and we're in front facing the fuel island, so I definitely could not leave the truck there. I wouldn't leave it there anyway. I had to fix it. I backed it in, right? And then she comes back. I came out the truck and I was like, you know, walking around just kind of clearing my head because I don't want to get frustrated and get annoyed with my trainee. I come back into the truck, I guess at some point in me walking around outside to kind of clear my head. She came back to the truck, got on the phone with whoever it was she was talking to. I think she said it was her sister, and was basically like, well, you know, she doesn't listen. I've never met someone that's so attentive, but like not listening and all this other stuff. And I am like sitting in the driver's seat now at this point, hearing this. And hold on one second, guys. So yeah, I'm like, you know, is there anything that like you would like to say to me? You know, because I would prefer that you talk to me, because you're saying all of this stuff on the phone instead of just talking to me when I'm right here next to you. So clearly, you know, you want what you're saying to be heard. And she's like, no, we don't need to have this conversation right now. You know, trust me, you don't want to have this conversation right now. And I was like, Miss ma'am, I'm clearly, like I said, you feel the need to be heard. So I was like, how do you feel like I'm not listening to you? And then she proceeded to say, well, outside of right now, ironically, you're like talking over me, or you cut me off when I'm talking and you don't listen to like what I've been telling you since I've been on the truck. I've been uncomfortable, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, okay, what are these instances that you're talking about? Because I most definitely, if we're talking about today, let's walk it down. If we're talking about today, I asked you after you did the first pull through and you didn't do it right. I came up to the window on the passenger side, opened the door, and I said, do you want to try it again, or do you just want me to do it? Like, I can back it in if you're getting frustrated, because at that point, after she didn't get it the first time, I could tell she was getting frustrated. She was like, no, I want to do it myself. I want to learn. I was like, okay, listen to what I'm telling you and go ahead and back it in. She was like, okay. She pulled forward, went around again, circled back. Didn't listen to anything that I was saying. She just tried to do it herself and pull through the space again and messed up the pull through. And I was like, okay, your trailer is like close to being in the space, so go ahead and just, you know, pull forward and straighten it out to like serpentine, basically, to where your truck and trailer is aligned, and you could just turn it into a straight back instead of a pull through, because that's not, like, your trailer is close to where it needs to be, but it's not, you know, you're not in the space. And she was like, no, because I don't want to leave it crooked. Like, You're not leaving it crooked. I'm telling you that if you pull forward and you align the truck and the trailer the right way, how I'm telling you to, you'll be able to get it in the space and just back up. She wasn't trying to hear none of that, right? So I was like, if we look at that situation, I offered to just do it for you. And you said no, because we pulled in here anyway to begin with, because you said that you were in pain and you needed to stretch and all that other stuff. I'm not a tyrant. I'm going to let you go stretch or whatever. But if you're saying that you are insisting on doing stuff yourself, then do it right. Do it the right way. Don't get annoyed and agitated and think that something that you've never done before and you're doing it for the first time is only going to take one time or two times, and then after that, like, it's done. No, it's not how that works, right? Everybody knows that. So, hold on, y'all. So then she proceeds to say, because I was like, okay, we debunked that one. I definitely did listen, and I offered, and you just insisted on doing it your way and still trying, but just didn't want to take the time and the effort to do it the right way. You just expected it to take 2 times, and if it did anything past 2 times and any adjustments, which would be doing it the proper way, because you're learning, you know. So instead of learning how to fix your mistakes and how to actually do it right, you just got frustrated and agitated, threw in a towel, and just wanted to go inside. You could have done that. If you were going to do all of that, you could have done that when I asked you, okay, do you want me to just back it in for you while you go stretch, take your smoke break, or whatever? I wouldn't have felt a way about that. Like, I understand all of this is new to you. I've not been out here too long to where I don't remember what it feels like when I was where she was, right? So, like, then she was like, well, yeah, outside of that, it's also the fact that, hold on. She was like, outside of that, it's also the fact that, like, I got on the truck and I told you that, like, my period and stuff was, like, you know, uncomfortable when I was on the seat, like, the first day that I came on the truck. And I was like, you know, I'm confused that, like, what you're saying right now, because did we not go to a Walmart? I was like, did we not go to a Walmart? Did I not go out of route and basically waste the whole entire time that I had trying to go through traffic to try and squeeze our truck and trailer to a Walmart that was convenient without going too far out of the way to be able to let you run in and get your pads, your feminine products and stuff? If you're getting on your trainer's truck, that's you not being prepared. I definitely talked to you and told you make sure you bring your hygiene products, your feminine hygiene products, all of that stuff that you would need. You know you're going to be on a trainer's truck for 3 weeks. You know that. You know that truck stops are not Walmarts and they're not CVS's and Walgreens and stuff. They have a limited selection of stuff like that, and most of it is travel size. So if I'm going out of my way, we done went to, you know, as soon as she told me that when we were getting fuel, I was like, we will definitely stop at a Walmart and I will go ahead and get you sorted so you can run in and get your stuff. All the time, all I was hearing was, oh, it's okay, it's okay. I don't want to be inconvenient to you. But now, a couple of days later, on your 5th day on my truck, you're sitting there saying I wasn't being convenient enough for you. You were just trying to take advantage of the situation. I did everything above and beyond for this student to try and make them comfortable on my truck, because I understand all of this stuff is new for them. And then you just take that kindness and just shit on it, basically, and look at it as if, like, I wasn't even doing anything for you when I did. I definitely went out of my way to try and accommodate you and be accommodating. Like, I even went as far as the mattress up there, because it didn't fit, like, all the way at the bottom. It wasn't the right size. I called up the job and had them try and get me to a terminal so that way we could get her a proper mattress to fit up there. That's, you know, planning ahead and going out of way and whatnot, because I didn't want you to be doing hotels every night on a truck or whatever, or being uncomfortable. So like, I'm not understanding how that's how you turn around as a student and then say, oh, well, my trainer, despite her actually stopping at Walmart for me and going to make sure that, you know, I'm comfortable with my mattress and stuff like that, because she was just trying to sleep on it. And I was like, no, I will stop by. I will get you, you know, one that actually fits the whole bed up there so that way you're comfortable. And then like, do all of these things and whatnot, buy your showers, because I know you guys hadn't gotten paid yet, so I'm out here buying you your showers, buying you, like, you know, your stuff for your laundry, your food, whatever the case may be. And then you turn around and just try and paint it to whoever you were talking to on the phone as if I'm just out here like not doing anything for you and being the most inconvenient person in the world. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. And it's just like, on top of that also, the day before, because all of this happened yesterday on the 15th. I think that was the date. Yeah, the 15th. All of that happened on the 15th yesterday. And then the day before, she almost got my truck like smashed up. Like, my truck was almost done for. Why? Because we get to the yard, we delivered the load, dropped it off, and then we get I knew we were running low on time, and I was like, I know she's not going to be able to do her 4 hours that she's supposed to drive today. I'm going to try and substitute it. I'll let her practice and get a feel for driving the bobtail back up to the terminal yard, so that way we can go ahead and, you know, she gets a little bit of driving and gets to see how different it feels without the trailer attached. So I was like, okay, adjust your mirrors, do, you know, your steering wheel adjustments, make sure your feet can reach the pedals, because she was a little bit shorter than me, not too much. I'm 5'9" and she was 5'2", so she definitely can't reach the pedals like how I would be able to reach the pedals, you know, with my adjustments that I have for me. And so we're pulling out, we get onto the roadway, we're in a yield, like we take the turn for the Texas loop. I forget what number it is, but we take the turn for the Texas loop, and it ends at a yield sign at the end of that. She didn't look through her mirrors or anything, obviously. We turn out, and then she's trying to apply the brakes, and this man is like on our ass. Like, he is right on our ass when we turned around and looked. Like, by the time that she turned around and actually was like damn near already in the lane, that man was up on our ass, and he was honking his horn because he almost hit us. He almost hit us. And so that situation happened. She's trying to brake. I'm like, no, just put your foot on the gas. Just push the gas. That's it. Don't brake in that situation, because he was gonna hit us. That was too close for my comfort. He was gonna hit us. And it's the fact that you didn't listen to your trainer telling you, make sure you check your mirrors. Because when we came up to that, I was like, it's a yield sign. Make sure that you check your mirrors and make sure it's clear before you pull out. She just made the move and started moving the truck before I even finished my sentence. Like, what? And then it's like, we ended up pulling into a gas station and then going on the other side and going under the bridge instead of having to turn how we were going to come out from that yield sign. And I'm just like, when we got to the yard, I tried to talk to her and explain to her, like, why, like, how bad of a situation that could have been and, like, what we could have done to avoid it. And then she just got upset, got defensive, and was like, no, I don't want to hear that because you're trying to say it like I wasn't paying attention. I was paying attention. The thing was in my way. I couldn't see with the what's it called? The phone mount on the window. I was like, that phone mount had nothing to do with it, because at that yield sign, that yield turn, the only thing that was directly in the windshield at that point in time was the sidewall of the bridge ahead that we were going to go under when we made that turn, if we actually made it over into that lane. You're just looking at the side of the highway wall for the ramp, and then that's it. The car's in front of you. What you should have been looking at, and that situation would have been avoided if you had seen it, was your driver's side mirror and the mirror on the front of the hood on the driver's side. You didn't look there, because if you were looking there, you would have seen that it was not safe for you to pull out. And thank God that man was paying attention and he did not hit us, because we're in a truck, and it wasn't like a small truck or a car. It was a big old, just like us, truck with a trailer attached. While we were just bobtail, that man would have chop sueyed us in that truck if he would have hit us. Like, it's stuff like that that's like scary. And it's like, I want to be a trainer. I do. I understand that it's going to be difficult sometimes, but this first student that I had was just like crazy. Like, it was just a crazy experience. And I'm just like thinking, like, I don't know, like, I'm not going to give up, because I really do want to do it. And it's been something that, like, I've been wanting to do, and I've been wanting to implement, and, you know, as like a part of a step for me being a driver. But I also have to be, in order for that to work, I also have to have and be able to have students that are willing to listen. If you're not willing to actually come out here and do the job and learn the job properly, not on like oh, well, I know I'm learning how to back, but I'm only giving it 2 tries and then that's it. You're not willing to, you're not fit to do the job. You're not, because you're going to get to shippers and receivers where it takes you more times than twice to get it and back into a door. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to be wanting to quit and all that other stuff. You have to keep going and keep trying. You're new to this. That's the only way you're going to get better. You can't just throw your hands up and just, you know, get upset, get mad, and then flip out on your trainer when you're on their truck. That's not cool. That is not cool at all. Basically, after that, I ended up calling the training coordinator. I told him everything that was going on, that happened, and then that transpired on that day, yesterday. And basically he said that they were gonna get her a hotel, and then they'd have someone call her, so that way she can they can get her perspective, like, on where her head was at, but definitely getting her a hotel room for the night, so that way, you know, we can have some distance, right? Come in the morning time, he calls me back, and I was like, okay, so I was just calling to see kind of like, you know, what's going on, what is the course of action, like, is she getting back on the truck, am I dropping her off somewhere, or like what's going on? And basically, from my understanding, he didn't give too many details, which I understand, because it's not a gossip thing. This is, you know, this is stuff like this is important, and you have to maintain professionalism at work. So he basically told me they had someone from the training department reach out to her this morning. They tried to have a conversation with her, and basically she got hostile with them, took the same I don't really care to learn attitude, and just made it seem like you genuinely just don't want to be here. And so he was like, at the end, like, there's not really anything they could do. They can't force people to want to learn how to drive a truck. So he was like, they just cut ties with her. So he said they are arranging her travel so that way she could get back home to North Carolina, and you know, that's the end of that, which I really don't understand how you get your CDL, you go through the trouble of stressing yourself out, learning something that's entirely foreign to you, having the company pay for it, and then when it comes time to train, you just don't want to do the work. You don't want to do the work. You don't care to learn and understand enough to learn how to properly facilitate the duties that you need to do at your job to ensure that you and other people are safe out here on the road. You don't want to do the work. I don't know if you thought it was just cool and pretty and you know, I know I have my truck looking all nice and whatnot, so you know, you think, oh, okay, it's just it'll be simple, easy. No, absolutely not. And it's crazy because we saw on her first day driving, we saw a truck accident. A truck had flipped over on the side of the road. He was okay, thank God, but you know, it shut down the whole entire eastbound side of the highway. It shut down the entire eastbound side of the highway. And like, seeing something like that, this job is dangerous. You need to stay off your phone when you're in the passenger seat, supposed to be training, taking notes. Ask questions. Ask questions. Ask questions. Ask questions. Ask questions. She wasn't saying anything. I kept trying to, you know, maybe like drop little hints at questions that she could ask, but she still didn't ask any questions. She wasn't taking notes either. So it's like, you don't really want to be here, you know? And that's sad that my first training experience was like that, but I'd much rather people like that not be out here on the road or having to even be, you know, trained, as opposed to, God forbid, I didn't say anything to the training coordinators and I tried to still make things work. She somehow upgraded, got her own truck, and then got into an accident or killed someone or killed a family or herself or anything else. Like, I would not be able to sleep at night, because I would have to hold that on me as a trainer, and I don't want that experience. So like, it is what it is. Right now, in regards to the load, basically what they ended up doing, after we had that phone call in the morning and he updated me, my dispatcher called and he said that they moved the appointment time to the 25th, which is way ahead of schedule, because I told you guys that yesterday when all this happened was the 15th. Today's the 16th of April, and they're saying that it's going to be now delivered on the 25th. That's a whole entire like time in between of like just being with this load. I don't know if they're gonna just like change it or whatever, but like, this is my specific like dedicated run. I'm the only driver that does and pulls loads from Friday up until like, you know, delivery and then coming back. But I always pick up on Fridays and I always deliver on Fridays. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna try and enjoy my 34 out here in Texas. It cooled down a little bit from yesterday, but I'm definitely gonna try and catch up on some stuff. Read my Bible, do my Bible study, and do some work on a computer, catch back up with the YouTube stuff, there's just a lot of housekeeping things that I gotta do, and definitely cleaning the truck as well, and just kind of resetting, because I did let them know at the company that I still am willing to take another student, and I would be, you know, ready for another student on the 22nd, the 21st or the 22nd. I would be ready for another student, and if they could just, you know, put them either somewhere around Texas on like 20, or if they can get them directly to Atlanta, either one. But I do still have a positive attitude and positive outlook towards moving forward with training. I know that my first student wasn't perfect, and I do know that I will definitely have other experiences that are definitely going to test me as a trainer with students that come on the truck, whether, you know, is someone that's just like this one that just doesn't want to learn and just isn't, you know, capable of doing the job and what it takes to be out here, or someone that just thinks they know everything already and, you know, need to be broken down from that mindset in order to kind of start a fresh slate and be taught properly, so that way you don't get out here wrecking up stuff and just, you know, all the negative stuff that can happen, because it can get very, very scary out here as a truck driver, and it's something that you should not take lightly at all, driving on this road. But yeah, I don't really have anything else. I just really wanted to make this just like a talking point for myself, and more so like a learning experience for myself. It definitely has been. But yeah, I'm okay. I'm confident that it'll be better as I further go along, because I know that this was not at all my fault. I couldn't have avoided this turning out like this, because I did everything that I was supposed to do, and I was patient as patient can be with her. It just, she wasn't willing to learn. And you can't, what did my nana used to say? She said, you could lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And I think that was a prime example of that in this situation, because clearly, you know, she was led to the water. The water is trucking, getting your CDL license, and the drinking part is, okay, now that you got your CDL license, put in the work. Actually know how to operate the truck safely. Know how to be safe at your job.